Greetings and salutations from Guillermo, my friend, Tony behind the camera, myself, Teddy Tarr, one of your neighborhood psychologists. Today we're going to kind of do a summary, but mostly a summary based on self-talk, what we need to say to ourselves in order to manage our lives. So, recently, a client talked to me about a little book, a child's book. I couldn't find it. I hunted on the web. I didn't know the name of it. About flowers. And a flower who was so colorful and beautiful. But she wanted to be unique. So when the other flowers would come to her and ask her to share her secret or to give some of her color to them, she would of course say no. Because she didn't want them to be like her. You know, unfortunately, this struck a bell. Because I've always thought, wow, I'm different, I'm unique. And then I grew up and said, so is everybody else. But in the beginning, I think at times we think we're the only one who has it, or knows it, or can do it. But anyway, she was beautiful, she was colorful, and at one point, according to my client, she gives away her color to one person, one flower, and eventually gives away her color. And they all have it. And the lesson, of course, is being able to give is so important. And it wasn't the gift, the kind of gift even, or the value of the gift as much as the fact that she learned how to give. So, anyway, it made me think of something. You know, I think I've said before in one of the videos that I probably learn more than anyone. The person who does the talk, the one who does the research, the one who has to put ideas together learns more than anyone watching 20 minutes of me saying something, or you, Guillermo. Is that not true?
Yes.
Because that's where the work is. So.
That's why I come so prepared, because you have done all the work.
Not true. Not true. So I did think I was different for a long time, and I realized we're all different, and trying to value our uniqueness and not point out our mistakes. And that's sort of hard to do. But one day, I received a flower, just one flower. My client came in, and she was 94. And I saw her every week and often would pick her up, take her to lunch because she didn't really have anyone. And she brought me one flower. And I took the flower and I thanked her and I put it in the vase. But honestly, I didn't think too much of it. It was just, you know, it wasn't like it meant that much. It was a week later when I went into her house to pick her up on a Saturday for breakfast. I saw that she had a little vase with two little flowers like the one she gave me. So she had given me one of her 3 flowers. And it's amazing how that story connected with that. She passed away about 2 years ago, but I watched like 25. She was from Alaska cowboy movies until I thought I would die. And just before she died, I said to her, do you remember all those movies we watched together? And she said, no. and I thought to myself, the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so I just want to share that with you. It's not what the value is so much, it's what you give from the heart. It's the heartfelt that I'll always remember her, and I always think about her around her birthday. So, Anne Stoll did a dissertation for her Doctor of Philosophy on stories of children of the Great Depression. Now, mind you, I never ever look at someone else's dissertation. That is PTSD after I had to do mine on Complicated Morning. But this time, I was a little, since I was doing this on self-talk and I was thinking about how we could improve ourselves, I thought, I'm going to look at it. Well, honestly, I didn't read the whole thing. But one thing that really captured me was when she did her research, and let me tell you, anybody who's done a dissertation, it's a very thorough research. Anyway, what she said was that by sticking together, you either suffer or you grow. Well, I think that's right now. We could stick together. We're either broken or strengthened. And right now we have a lot of challenges, and it's being able to help each other. Help each other find jobs. Help each other handle our anxiety. Help each other to do a lot of things. Maybe just make phone calls. So with that, I shall turn this over, and we're going to review some of the videos that we already have put up.
Just to list the videos that we have done so far, so in case you have interest in looking through them. The first one we did was Introduction to COVID-19 Pandemic. Then the second one was The Little Engine That Could. The third was Resiliency, Chicken Little. The fourth was Playing a Poor Hand Well, it's a positive psychology. 5 was Marching On. 6 was The Tortoise and the Hare. Some of them are going to be, the next ones are done, are going to be appearing on YouTube soon. They're up already? 8 was The Gigantic Balloon. 9 was Efficacy.
Efficacy? I can do it.
10 was Friendship. 11 was Bereavement. And 12, Gestalt?
Gestalt, yeah.
Wow, I pronounced it right.
Yeah, you did, Gestalt.
You didn't spell it correctly, but I pronounced it right.
No, I know.
Just kidding.
I try and make at least, if I can make one mistake, it doesn't make me feel bad.
All right.
Very good. Okay, so I kind of sort of came up with a few questions I thought.
You came a few questions about the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right?
So, start off with.
I am so fearful, anxious, depressive, angry. How do I manage my thoughts and feelings?
I'll give you a referral.
That's why I come here every Monday.
Yeah. I think one of the things is to identify. It's very important if you have certain feelings and you feel out of sorts and you don't feel like yourself, is to identify what you're feeling, why you think you're feeling it. Have you ever had that feeling before? What should you do about it before? Do you have somebody that you can trust to talk about it, that won't throw it up in your face, that won't make you feel badly, that won't give you advice that you don't need? So today, before I wouldn't have suggested this, today I would suggest first you go online and search out some information. And secondly, there are groups online. There are groups that you can join in on. Those would be a possibility. If it's really serious and you think it's serious, then I'd go to my minister, my priest, my rabbi, whoever it is that I trust, my spiritual advisor, or someone who goes to those particular places with me. And I would ask if that would be something I could talk to them about. From there, then I start in with my doctor. I talk to my doctor. Probably I would not suggest a medication unless unless you haven't done these things, I would not suggest. If you've done all these things and you're still feeling badly, then you need to look into that. And I would suggest professional help.
Now, this question is asked in many occasions. Why would God permit this suffering?
Wow, I have a whole bunch of questions I'd like to ask God, to be honest with you. But I think I'm going to be like Job. Once he comes in that whirlwind and he's in those clouds and he looks at, that's it, I don't have any questions anymore. I only have questions from a distance. You know what, I don't think we can understand. I only know that if you happen to believe in literature that is related to your belief system, one of the things I know with the Jewish and the Christian belief system, it rains on everyone. God does put guides people to help us through things. The hardest thing in the world is asking for help. We don't want to show anyone. I have a hard time telling Tony that I don't know how to turn on the computer after I've had it 12 years. What's wrong with this? How come it's not turned on? Well, Teddy, try plugging it in. I'll plug it in. So asking for help.
I'm afraid to go to, why am I afraid to go to places at this time?
I have clients who have not left their house at all except to come here. The only reason they're coming here and they've left their house is because I won't talk to them on the phone if they live here. I think everyone has a different feeling about it. I have friends who want to go out and go to Outback. Happens to be one of my favorite places. Looks pretty good the way they've controlled it. I haven't seen anything on the table that they don't throw away. I'm afraid to put my purse there because they'll take it probably and put it in the garbage. So, and I have other clients who are friends who will not go anywhere, will not eat out anywhere, not outside, not inside. Okay, respect.
When will this end?
I don't think it's ever going to end. I think it'll get better. You know, no vaccine ever helped anyone.
It's 100%.
Vaccines do not at all make people better. Vaccinations make people better. We already have 20% of the population says, I'm not going to take a vaccine. The other 20% says, I think it's political. I'm going to wait and see who dies before I take the vaccine. Then we have people who are not even talking about it who probably aren't going to take it. So it's going to be a problem. So we're going to have salesmen sell the vaccine, I'm sure, for us to even want to take it.
How do I know what to believe as everything keeps changing?
I think it's important to decide on a source that you're comfortable with. I don't care what that source is. And to stay with that source unless you see something else. I mean, I happen to like Dr. Fauci, but not everybody does. I happen to go online, and I usually believe what Baptist Hospital has. I'm on staff there. So if they tell me that only 5 monkeys died, 1 is still alive, we have to have you take the vaccine. I'm going to take the vaccine. I'm going to write out my will. No. But you understand what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
I think you have to have an authority, and I have different authorities in my own life, depending on what it is.
Should I get tested?
You know, that's a great question. I think you should get tested if someone close to you that you've been with a lot,
Yeah.
because that way you can quarantine and not spread it. I think you should get tested if you're teaching. You want to make sure when you go in. I think one of my clients is in university now, and they turned her whole place over to the virus, whoever gets it. They put her in a hotel, and they have strict rules about where they can go and what they can do. So I think you should follow your heart, and I think you should never, ever let somebody else who doesn't believe in quarantine make those decisions for you without investigating whether you feel that way.
I agree.
Okay?
What will your videos do for me?
Probably nothing. What will you do for the video? That's the question. You can always email me and tell me, I didn't like this. I think, why didn't you talk about this? Or whatever. Maybe it's not about what they'll do for you. I think what we do when we put a video out or anything is we help people to pull together things they already know. We just remind them of what they know. We remind them of their duty to make themselves as good as they can. It's not probably much new. I doubt very much if I've come up with a lot of new things.
So how do you feel about all these conspiracy theories that are being...
I'm not. Well, I can tell you, it was at Publix when they were wearing masks, and a guy who was standing 2 people behind me was talking about all the conspiracy theories. He's a believer. I wanted to hand him my card, and then I decided there was no way that I was going to torture myself for a whole session. So I'm not a big, but I'm not like that about other things either. And how do you know it's a conspiracy? Things do change.
Yeah.
Lots of times what starts out as a conspiracy theory can turn into something else. So you need to be a good information processor.
Can I trust my friends to be careful?
No. And I don't think, if you just had a new baby, I know you didn't just have a new baby, but
Well, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't. My wife did.
yeah. But if you have a baby, your job is to protect the baby and to do what your pediatrician says. I wouldn't listen to anybody else. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you got to be careful who you listen to.
Yeah.
Very careful.
Yeah. And you need to know that this is not a fun thing to get, and you can suffer, and you can die.
Last question on this side.
Okay?
How will all of the protests, the virus, the economy affect the election?
Wow.
That's in the mind of a lot of people.
I'm guessing, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing a lot of people already made up their mind.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing to do is to think that whatever side you're on is the only side and has all the truth. No one has all the truth. No one here on this planet has all the truth. I think understanding that different resources by each of the different folks has more to do with the opinions and how that plays out.
Yeah. I think we have too many opinions on TV these days.
Maybe it's the interpretation.
Interpretation and things like
Yeah,
that.
but I'll tell you one thing I do think. If you have a friend, do you really want to lose a friend over something political?
I know. Crazy.
You know, the people who judge will be
Yes.
judged. And I just feel that you can have your own opinions and they can be strong. But you want to share those with people with like-mindedness. You want to do the things you need to do. I think I told you I have on my the middle of my computer, I have my friend with a Hillary cup and a Biden cup, and he's still speaking to me. And neither of which did he know he was into until the picture was snapped. So I think being lighthearted and not making this, everyone has truth.
I think the most important thing about the politics situation is that people have to be more understanding of everybody else's feelings. And accept them for what they are, and don't try to change somebody's person.
Why would you give up someone in your life, a relative or a friend, over a belief system? I wouldn't want to do that. No. So, okay, so self-talk. The idea is to recognize that it's pretty unconscious, that most of our self-talk is unconscious. It comes from before, from when we were children, and if it was negative then and we came from a house where no one said, gee, aren't you beautiful? Aren't you a pretty little girl? Let me put your picture up on the refrigerator. If we never heard that, we probably don't give ourselves that message. We don't value ourselves very much. Somebody, now it didn't have to be a parent, it might have been a witness, a grandparent, could have been an aunt or a friend, could have been an older sibling, but we had to have some positive messages to love ourselves, to love others. So, self-talk, you can go in there and put in those messages you didn't get. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay. I have to remember that my mother put a picture of me on her refrigerator.
A picture of you?
Yeah.
That was because how many kids did she have?
She had 5.
She didn't want to feed
I
anybody
was the
that didn't belong.
I was the only one in the refrigerator.
That could be a problem. I don't want to go there. Wait a minute, I have a referral paper right here. Okay, on the self-talk.
Self-talk, what purpose does it have?
If you change your self-talk,
Self-talk, what purpose does it have?
one thing, you can correct your self-talk from a long time ago. Whatever you learned before, at some point you have to re-examine it and decide whether you still believe that. Sometimes you'll tell somebody something and they'll say to you, well, I thought you told me this and this and this. And I can then say, yeah, at one time I did believe that. I don't believe it now. So self-talk, 1, can be changed. 2, we can give ourselves positive messages, encouragement, and we can make a difference in our behaviors. And 3, we talk to ourselves all the time. It's a matter whether we're conscious of it or not.
We do, we talk to ourselves.
Yeah. all the
Sometimes
time.
we talk negative and we have to change that into positive.
And it's not easy to do.
And not that easy.
No. What do you do when you feel bad about yourself? How do you talk yourself out of it?
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. Okay.
What is the importance of have a purpose higher than self? The spiritual self, a belief system.
Okay, it helps. We know that from the research. That is not necessarily, I'm not suggesting a religious belief, but a spiritual belief system that there's more purpose in life, that I'm not the only important person. Having a different attitude about life.
This is a good one. How do I cut overly negative people out of your life?
Okay, maybe you don't have to cut people out. Maybe you just have to spend less time with them. I always worry because, I know a couple of people that I have in my life, and fortunately I have a big enough life to say this, that are pretty negative. But I wouldn't think of cutting them out because they don't have a whole lot of reinforcement or friends. So sometimes I think we can have a relationship that's limited, that isn't necessarily as rich and full as a relationship with someone we really care about.
Okay. Be careful for.
Be grateful for.
Oh, be grateful. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That was a misspelled by you again.
Yes.
Be grateful for.
What can we be grateful for? I think we need to know what we're grateful for. What are we grateful for? What are you grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for my health.
That's a big thing.
That's the most important thing I think in life is your health, because without your health, you
Can't do
really can't
anything.
do anything. And then I'm grateful for my family, my job,
Yeah. For accomplishments.
the accomplishment we have
For
had.
being able to do videos every week with me.
Coming here is one of my favorite things.
You don't know how many referrals I'm getting after this. Maybe 4 or 5.
This is a good one. Don't compare yourself to others. We find ourselves a lot of time
Yeah.
comparing ourselves to others.
And how do we do that? When we're kids, we say, well, at least I'm not doing drugs and I'm not an alcoholic. And I didn't write checks and spend all your money. In other words, we take the worst possible scenarios. As we get older, we try to come up with something a little better than that. It's much better to compare ourselves to ourselves and think about how we can grow.
Because you know, one of the things that affects people a lot is the envy that they have for other
Yes.
people. You know,
Yes.
that's not good.
It can be very damaging.
Use positive words with others.
Okay, I think that's important. Words matter. Remember the one we did, the one video, I don't think we put that on there, that was about, that had the poem in it, the song, the arrow and the song.
I think Tony did that, no?
Yeah, I forget which video that was. It may not be up yet. That was, I think, our last one, right? Anyway, those words, those stinging words, stay, and those wonderful words, stay. They both go into people, and they don't forget those words.
Partners, should they have to put up with?
Yeah, what should they have
What
to
should
put
they
up
put
with?
up with?
Tolerance, maybe, being able to talk about something. Sometimes you can't talk with somebody about anything. Some people won't talk to you about things. They pull off. Sometimes writing a note or something and trying to say, you know, how you feel, or that you'd like to discuss something. Sometimes people want time. They do not want to have to sit down right now. And we need to be more respectful that some people can't finish it immediately. Some of us just want to wipe it off the slate.
How about believing in your success?
Yeah, I think it's important. I don't think you can be successful if you don't believe.
You don't believe.
And if you don't take any risks. It's very hard to be successful.
Which is my next question.
Which is?
Don't fear failure.
Yeah, because if you never try anything, you're not going to fail.
You're
You're also not going to learn anything. And that includes, you know what? So many people watch a movie, read a book, and the whole time they're critical of whatever's being, either the actors, the dialogue, the book, the information. You know, that's not a way to learn. A way to learn is to be able to take something out of it that's going to help us.
I think the biggest failure is actually not trying to do
Yeah, I
something.
do too. If you never
You
try,
never try, you're not going to do it.
you never take any risk. The brain likes
And
complexity.
you're never going to find out either.
Do you know the brain likes complexity? It likes to be challenged. It does not want this easy, passive life. It likes complexity and simplicity. Sometimes it just likes to rock out and it doesn't want to do a whole lot. But it needs to be challenged.
Okay, give me an example of replacing negative thoughts with positive ones.
Okay, a negative thought. Okay, the doctor says I'm obese. I change doctors. That works. Why should I mess with that? No, I have to look at what? I have to look at what I can do and take little steps. The biggest problem we have with failures on a behavior program is we do nothing and then we want to do it all and this kills us. And so we stop. So you take one little teensy-weensy thing that you can do and do that. And let that work for you for a while and then take one more teensy-weensy thing. Yeah, pretty good.
Very good. Post positive affirmations.
Okay, what do you say to yourself? You've got to say something positive to yourself. Your self-talk, and that's what we're talking about, has to have a feedback loop that says, wow, look at this. I feel better about myself. Or I read this article. I'm always reading something that a lot of times if I read things, it'll make me feel like, wow, I can work on that. Or it's reminding me of something I should have been doing. So positive affirmation would be, I learned from something, I put positive things on my refrigerator. I put little notes to myself. You know, this worked. Let me give myself a star. I can journal. My music, different ways, my art, different ways that I can enhance, reinforce myself.
Well, you gave me here a list of examples that you can post
Yeah,
on your bathroom mirror today. Just some sticky notes.
okay.
I am adventurous and I am embrace all that life has to offer. I feed my spirit daily. I'm in charge of how I feel today. I am grateful for, and it's a lot of things to be grateful for. I will choose happiness and gratitude today. I'm special and unique. Nobody else in the world is exactly like me. I am proud of myself. I show love to myself and others daily in all that I do. I find joy in all situations. I am kind to others and to myself. I'm of value and have purpose in this world.
I love all those. All right. How about dwelling on the past? Do you dwell on the past?
I try not to. I only look at the past to learn from it.
Okay, that's good.
That's been my and if you dwell in the past, then you don't live the present.
No. On this next list, visualizing our success. Limit your intake of the news and media. You know, I watch so much of the Weather Channel. I love the Weather Channel. I'm not doing it in. I'm doing the fact in that I can't. I get addicted. So I watch the hurricane so much that I begin to feel like I'm in a hurricane, like it's coming here, and I want to go out and put my shutters up and go out and buy food. I'm not in it. This isn't my hurricane. I think sometimes if we watch too much, and I'm making it about weather, but it can be about anything.
Anything, news, you can watch too much news and be all
Jittery or whatever. You can get upset, angry, too much angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, you watch Sound of Music, how angry are you going to get? I watched Mary Poppins a while ago. How angry are you going to get with Mary Poppins? You just remember how wonderful the movie was, how uplifting.
How about help others?
Yep. But not so much that you start something that you're not willing to do. You want to help others help themselves. What is that old thing about fishing, giving a man fish, or teaching him how to fish?
Teach them how to fish. How about be physically active?
I think it's important. I'm not. I think it's important.
I think it's
I'm not.
important.
I'm not terribly active. I know you work out every day.
Yeah, I think it's important. For a lot of people, it's very important.
See, if I were seeing you, I'd try and take that out so I wouldn't feel so jealous.
Okay, with that one, we're going to dream and set goals.
Okay. Yeah, dreaming. Having new dreams. I'll often ask somebody, what was your dream when you were 16? What was your dream when you were in your 20s or 30s? I think it's important to have dreams and to have new dreams. So staying positive. There are different ways to be positive. All of these have come out of a website, which is www.lifehack.org. And I'm going to have Tony put that website up on the back of the video so you can take a look at it. Wonderful website. A lot of information. And to go on here, same website on Lifehack. Love people.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Love people. Like life, love is one of the most commonly discussed yet elusive things that humans encounter. Is it a behavior, a lifestyle, a person or object, a relationship with God? It's used in all of these ways depending on the context. However, one thing that always remains is that love is a powerful force for good. Many of the most meaningful things in life are born out of love, whether we're loving things, others, or even ourselves. One of the best ways to find the meaning of life through love is to practice connecting with our families, from parents and siblings to a spouse and children. Loving our family is a powerful way to grow in our knowledge and appreciation of what life has to offer. A spouse, children, friends, life partners, and strong platonic relationships provide a unique and powerful feeling that is difficult to find anywhere else. This is largely because they are intimately connected to the eye-opening, natural desire to reproduce and leave our mark on the world through posterity.
And also ideas, the same with ideas. That to produce an idea, you don't have to have a child to put an idea in a child or in another adult to share things. I think it's real important. Okay, so if you're interested in reading more about
I have one more question.
Yeah. We're gonna end with his question, whatever it is, and hope to God I can answer it.
This is the one I thought about. She has thought about everything else.
Yes,
How do I know I need a makeover or a growth track?
you do. I'm just gonna say it. There's no,
Okay,
No,
thanks
no.
for the answer.
no. No. I think what you have to do is a self-assessment. If there's something bothering you, that's what you need to focus on. Not necessarily, I'm not a firm believer that you have to go all the way back to childhood, but if it came from childhood, maybe pull out the photo album and take a look at the pictures and see how happy you were or not so happy. And remind yourself of where some of that came from. But if it's something from today, from the pandemic, I think today it would be uncommon for you not to be worried. If you're living in South Florida, not to be worried, or along the eastern coast, along the golf course, if you're living in Bermuda, worrying about the hurricanes. So at different times, we have to be able to tell ourselves to stop. We have to look for information. It's bothering us. Too much anxiety, too much depression, too much anger, any of those things. All of us have a little, but when it starts running our lives, we know then we have to work on it.
Very good.
Thank you so much for tuning in to us today.
When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. High up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go, but if you never try you'll never know just what you were. Lights will